Hey everyone, it's Mari. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel today. I've got a scrapbooking project to share with you just for fun today. And I'm also going to be doing a little bit of a chat while I'm scrapping. I also wanted to just show you, this is the mat that I use on my Surface. I rotate from making cards and scrapbooking, and so I leave my black grid mat taped to my table. I have an IKEA table in my space. I tape down that black mat so that it doesn't move, and then when I'm scrapbooking, I just lay down this Nuvo media mat. It is awesome. I love it. I will link it down below. It's super thin. It has a cling back on it, and it's got kind of like a nice matte, smooth, sort of a silicone surface on the top. What I've done ahead of time is I have prepped a piece of basil marshmallow smooth cardstock with some Prima gesso and my little Prima spatula tool there. And I have let that dry, and now I am ready to add a little bit of mixed media. I'm going to be working with some magicals on my background today, and this is the Prima Donna purple that I'm mixing up here first. Now I did show you the photos that I'm going to be scrapping today, and there's lots of green and purple and pink in the photos, the clothing that my daughter's wearing, and the green grass, and everything just is so beautiful and perfect for the collection that I'm going to be working with today, which is the Pink Fresh Studio Noteworthy collection. And so what I'm doing here on my basil marshmallow cardstock is I've just added a little bit of water across kind of like the center horizontally. And now I've watered down my magicals in my little palette to the right there. And I'm just taking my little brush, my little craft brush, and I'm adding some of that pigment into the water area that's on my paper and just letting it flow in the area where the water is. If it does sort of like get going in the wrong area, I just take my little baby wipe here and dab that up so that I can control where the pigment is going in that way. And then I can also control it with my brush as well. This is a super easy process and it is so much fun. I love working with these magicals. What's really cool is you can totally control how dark or light your color is by simply adding more water, just like you would with a watercolor. And these are just really super easy to work with, and I love the range of colors that you can get in the Magicals line from Lindy Stamping. So like I said, this one is called Prima Donna Purple, and I'm also going to be using oh, and I'm just showing you here how Bailey's running shoes are really bright pink and her sweater is purple. And of course the grass is green, and the trees are a dark green. So this all just works together really beautifully. The pink that I'm going to be using is called High Maintenance Magenta, and the green that I'm going to be using is called Drop Dead Gorgeous Green. Now what you can see me doing here on the screen is I'm just taking my heat tool and I'm drying the pigment as it's pooling. And so wherever it's pooled, it's going to dry darker. And so you can totally control where you get sort of like some variations in the depth of the color. This is a really super easy technique, and you could use your blow dryer, your hair dryer, whatever it is that you have that you can use in your space. Just use what you have. You do not need a Ranger heat tool to do this. You can just use whatever you have. And I also am going to splatter with all three of those colors that I mentioned already, the purple, the pink, and the green. And I'm also going to splatter with a little bit of Time Travel Teal. And all I'll do is just take my brush and get the pigment into the brush. So what I do is I actually rinse my brush out between the different colors in some clean water on my desk. And then to pick up the pigment and then just tap the brush and splatter onto the project so that you get just sort of like some fun little splatters on your layout to add to the interesting background that you're creating here with these watercolor magicals. So you'll just see me continuing to get some more of the colors in the different little areas of my little palette there to the right. Eventually I will have all four of those colors mixed up that I've mentioned, and just splattering with them now. And so mostly I've just got that Prima Donna purple as a base, and then I'm going to mostly just splatter with the other colors, and they'll mix in a little bit with that purple, and that's perfect. And it's just going to be a really subtle bit of color behind my photos and all of my embellishments once I'm finished working on that. So I'm just going to finish working away on that, and I'm just going to chat with you a little bit about what's been going on in my world. I have during the pandemic here where I am in Saskatchewan, we really have been staying at home. We have not been going out much, just, really trying to stay in our little bubble and going out only as we need to for groceries. Or now that it's beautiful outside, of course, we've been, out in our yard and on our deck and stuff. So that's been really nice, doing lots of walking. And in this, now that the weather has turned nice, we're just really trying to focus on lots of exercise and maybe just being a little more mindful of what we're eating. I feel like during the first part of the pandemic, we were just eating a lot of like not super healthy foods, like too much white bread. I know I was baking a lot of buns. We went through that. We totally went through that whole baking phase. And just we had our son staying here with us for a little while during the first part of the pandemic. And so, what I ended up doing lots of baking and stuff like that we didn't need, right? And so definitely we put on a little bit of weight. So we've been really trying to work hard and just get back to healthy eating and healthy lifestyle and just, doing a lot of self-care. And so during the first part of the pandemic, I did take on more design teamwork just because like we were at home and I had the time for that. And that was really great. I really enjoyed that. And I'm really grateful for the teams that I was part of during that time. I have taken a bit of a step back from a couple of the things I was doing, and just to make for more time, now that it's nice out and I don't want to be inside as much, and just getting outside lots and spending lots of time with family, the people who we do have in our bubble, and just, trying to change things up a little bit, right? Because winter is not too far around the corner for us. And I feel like it's going to be kind of a long haul if we don't sort of change things up a little bit in the meantime. I was just showing you there how really pretty and sparkly and shiny the magicals are when they start to dry. You can just really see that beautiful sparkle and shine. Now you can get magicals in flat colors as well without the mica or whatever they put in it to make it sparkly. I really prefer the ones that are shiny just because I like that look, but you totally can also get some that are flat. I do have some of the flat colors in my stash, but mostly I have the sparkly ones and I really love them. So I'm going to continue to show you how they sparkle and shine on the layout as I'm continuing. So I, just to continue the chat, I did step back. I have stepped back from a couple of the teams I was working on. I will still be continuing with the Just Nick team and the Honeybee Stamps team. And there's going to be a few other projects that are going to come up here and there as well that will be new, and that'll be fun too, but nothing that's going to be quite as time consuming as what I was doing in the first part of the pandemic, and just trying to balance things out a little bit more as we're able to do other things and not have to stay inside so much. So I also wanted to spend more time. I also want to dedicate more time to my Patreon, and I love that. And my patrons over there are so sweet and so awesome, and I have really enjoyed creating content for them. What they get over on Patreon is they get real-time videos where I don't speed anything up. I don't cut anything out. I don't do voiceovers unless like there was a time where I had something going on and I didn't have time to do the real time talk, but that's been really rare. And mostly I'm just, going through things, what's happening in my head as I'm going through my process. And my patrons really seem to enjoy that and appreciate that. And so I would also like to dedicate more time to that as my Patreon grows and I have more patrons over there. And we're just having I'm having a ton of fun over there. And I think they are too. It's been really positive. I've had lots of really great feedback. So that's been awesome. I don't really know what I'm going to do in the fall as far as school goes. For those of you who know, I am a retired teacher. I retired in June of 2019, but in the fall of 2019, I started to substitute teach in the new city that we moved to. I am going to be adding some texture paste through a stencil here. This is the confetti stencil from Alta New. It is gorgeous. I will link up all of the products that I'm using in the description box below so that you guys can find some of the ones that you want to use here. So I was subbing. I really enjoyed it. I was doing a lot of fun subbing, not just in the high school with English, but also with grade ones, if you can imagine, and doing some French immersion, which I have a background in as well. So I was really enjoying that. But now with COVID, I haven't really decided if I'm going to go back to subbing in the fall. Right now in our province, we have about 50-ish, in the 50s, active cases. But as we've seen across the world, that can change at any point in time. And I'm just going to kind of wait and see what's happening in the fall to decide whether or not I'm actually going to do some substitute teaching. Like I said, I really did enjoy it, but I don't really know if it's going to be that high on my priority list. So we'll just kind of take that as it goes and see what happens. So that's kind of what's been happening with me. I've definitely been making a lot more cards on my YouTube channel, and I'm just wondering how many of you've been missing the scrapbooking. I definitely will be scrapbooking more here as the days kind of go on, just because of having a little bit more time to do that with the fewer commitments that I have. And so that will be great. And I hope you enjoy that. Please make sure you leave me a comment in the description box below what you would like to see on my channel. If you are enjoying the cards or you want to see more of the 12 by 12 scrapbooking, etc., I'd really love to know. I will leave a link in the description box too to my Patreon if you want to check that out. It is pretty fun, and it's what it is. The cost of that is $3 a month, and that is US because Patreon is a US platform. It is based on, US funds. That's just what it is. So it is $3 a month, and you have access there to everything that I put on there. So there's no tiers or anything like that. And I don't know how many videos there are over there now, but I think you can see that even if you're not a subscriber. I think you can actually see how much I have uploaded, and you can check that out. You also have access to a private Facebook group, and we chat over there, and yeah, it's fun. I like it. I like it a lot, actually. Patreon's a pretty cool platform. So to the layout. Here you can see I have two 4x3 photographs that I'm going to be using for this project. And I wanted to really kind of distress the mats that are going to be part of the layout. So this paper with the text on it, super cool. It is from the Noteworthy collection from Pink Fresh. And I wanted to use that as a mat around the outside of my layout. So then I also wanted to bring that same paper into the inside of the layout, just to make it all coordinate together. So the paper that I'm using there with the script is going to be the bottom layer of my photo mat. I'm also going to mat my photo with a little bit of tissue paper from my scraps. Whenever I get packaging with things that I've ordered online or whatever, if there's this tissue paper that's white, that's kind of like a heavier weight, I always save that because it's just really cool. It kind of crinkles up and it adds just some really neat texture to your photo mat area. So I'd like to add that, and you can see that I have stapled that to that pattern paper, and now I'm just going to layer my photo, and I've taken some of that border around the photo off of it. I just cut it off with my scissors, and I really distressed the edges of it with my distressing tool. And now I'm just going to put some craft foam on the back of that and stick it to the rest of the mat. Now I did size my white paper down. I think it's now about 10.5 by 10.5 square. And I'm going to mat that onto some really pretty mauve cardstock, a purpley color, light purple, kind of a lilac-y mauve. And that is going to be the mat around my white, and then the other mat is going to be more of that text paper from Noteworthy. Now I'm just going to show you what I'm going to do for the embellishing here. Just some really simple embellishing using some of the tags and the die cut pieces from Noteworthy. I love this collection. It's beautiful. I think I got some of it in a hip kit, and then I also purchased extra of it just because it's so pretty. And I love the color palette, and it's perfect for these photographs. One of the things I really love about having a nice size stash is you get photos like this and you want to be able to use them in color because it just, shows how beautiful the day was. We went golfing together with the kids to a little golf course nearby, and we had so much fun. And the story that I'm talking about here is just bugging the kids because Brady, my son-in-law, who's the guy in the photo there, we got to this. I'm just showing you some of the details here, how I sewed around the outside edge and I put some not thread, but twine in the grommet of that tag there. And now I'm going to start to create my title with the puffy alphas from the Pink Fresh collection. So when we got to the golf course, Brady got his golfing gear out, and I don't golf because I have a herniated disc in my back. I have for about 6 years. So golfing really bothers my back. So I just go along and visit and have fun and go for a walk and that kind of stuff. So anyway, they got their stuff out and he had these really fancy golfing shoes and they were Callaways. And so the whole time we were golfing, I was bugging him that he was, a professional and golfing with the Callaways and this kind of thing. So the title for the layout is going to be, at the top, it's going to say "Let's Golf," and then at the bottom, "Together with the Callaways." And I just thought that is a fun memory. And when I do the journaling, which I don't do on camera, I often don't do my journaling until my photos are taken and the video is all done and everything, just because I like to keep it private. But the journaling that I will add to the layout will be about that, how much fun we had, and just bugging Brady about his fancy golfing shoes and that sort of thing. So they're pretty good golfers, actually. I used to have my own set of golf clubs. My husband gave them to me for a birthday, but I've since sold them because of my back issues and whatever. But we used to golf quite a bit, and these guys all did a really great job of golfing that day. So what I do now is I'm just taking some of the cardstock stickers from the cardstock sticker sheet from Noteworthy, and I'm just adding a little phrase sticker above each of the two photos. One says memories and the other says more of this. And I'm going to add a few puffy hearts onto the layout just to finish it up. And the layout is going to be finished. So I had so much fun with this, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. I am going to include some still shots here at the end. And I'm also going to just pick the layout up and show you how sparkly and shiny it is. I felt like at this point, the top area of the layout was a little bit bare. I just thought, ooh, like it seems like it's a little bit bottom heavy at this point. So what I did, and I'll show you here, there's a little video clip coming up right away where I just went in and I got some of the, I think it's from the My Favorite Story Pink Fresh collection, these white alphas, which are so pretty, and they've got that little bit of gold on them. And I just added the Let's Golf to the top area. And I just felt like that just made the whole thing work together really well and made the layout much more cohesive in that way. And you'll just see here, I'm just going to show you with my hand, just like a circular motion here, just showing you how it all works together nicely. So a little bit of sewing detail around the outside edge of my white basil cardstock, and then all of the other little details that I've added, and voila, the layout's done. So I hope you enjoyed this. Please make sure you check the description box below for the products I've used today. If you're not a subscriber, please make sure you subscribe if you like what you saw today and give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you another time. Have an amazing day. Bye-bye.